news. Philadelphia Eagles corner Jair Alexander is stepping away from football for the time being, a week after being acquired from the team. For the Game Nashville Sports Network, I'm Parker Kelly.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Wednesday. All that cold stuff from Monday appears to have gone away. In fact, as soon as I say that, let me just look here. Temperature at the moment is 64 degrees, 64 for the high tomorrow, then 70 on Friday, 72 on Saturday. So that is a really good thing.
I certainly won't complain.
Hello, Parker. How are you?
Hello, George. Glad to hear that the medicine is kicking in. You're feeling a little bit better.
Oh, I hope so. It has been Snotfest 25.
It's 70 degrees outside, sunny, and I believe the cold snap is over. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, might be for a while. Hey, real quickly before we do anything else, I talked to Kelly earlier this morning. His the funeral service was yesterday. Apparently, Coach Donnelly was one of those who was down there, which is very nice of him. You know, as Kelly told me, said it's just a sad deal, but I know that he appreciates all the support that he's gotten from everybody. Before we get to Terry McCormick's Daily Titans update, of course, he is Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. But first, this message from Dr. Gill.
That's my cue to play it.
Yes.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
So, yes, that is your cue.
We got it.
Okay.
We got it in there.
Terry McCormick is standing by. I have no idea what the news of the day is out at the Titans, but Terry, that's why you're here to share it.
That's right, George. That's why I'm here to share it. The Titans got a couple of guys back who've been out for a while, one being Calvin Ridley back on the practice field, and another being Arden Key back on the practice field. So a couple of guys who've been dealing with some hamstring in Ridley's case and quad in Key's case back on the field. No Jeffrey Simmons today, though, so that's a little bit of a cause for alarm as he continues to try and come back from his hamstring injury that has sidelined him the last couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, in fairness, there's no reason to rush it. It's not like, you know, they're playing for anything other than the first pick in the draft.
Right. I mean, you know, there's no sense in rushing it, you know, trying to get back, because you're right. You're not battling for the postseason or anything. So you might as well make sure guys are healthy before you put them back out there, you know, to finish up the season. So, yeah, I mean, as much as they could use Jeffrey Simmons on Sunday, if he's not able to go, you know, it's really, you know, not in the big picture, it's not a great loss, even though it's a great loss on the field in terms of his, you know, the talent and that he brings to it.
Do you think the other two play on Sunday?
Ridley sure sounded like he was ready, and I think and Key sounded like he was ready to go too. So I think both of those guys have a real shot at it. They've been out a little longer than Jeff has, so I think that both Calvin and Arden have a chance to suit up on Sunday and give it a go.
Yeah, which would be great. Any more word on C.J. Stroud?
Texans haven't seen their injury report yet. It's a little bit of, I guess it's just really a matter of can he clear the concussion protocol? Otherwise, you're going to see Davis Mills, because the NFL has started taking these concussion things very seriously. No more just running a guy back out there the first moment he feels better. You got to pass those tests and all the things in order to clear it to be able to go back out. So I think that's a decision that probably will be known more a little later in the week.
By the way, the forecast for Sunday, sunny and 64.
Very nice. Very nice compared to what we've had the last couple of days.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Terry, keep us updated. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place.
All right. Sounds good, Georgia. See ya.
That's Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Terry, of course, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. And now you're about to hear a load of bull from Parker about how popular the update is.
Extremely popular. It's not America's favorite segment for nothing. Sponsored by our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Join us out at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall tomorrow night as the New York Jets travel to take on New England to take on the Patriots. It'll be Rob Gronkowski's final game. Did you hear about that, George?
No. What do you mean?
He's signing a 2-day contract with the team before officially calling it a career, and I guess they're allowing him to suit. I don't know if they're allowing him to suit up or not tomorrow.
I think that's a procedural move to say he retired as a New England Patriot, which he should.
Yeah, absolutely. The CFP rankings came out last night. Did you get a chance to watch the reveal show?
No, I did not, but I paid very close attention.
It was a good night for Vanderbilt, I'd say, because they came in at 14, and as you were talking about yesterday, as long as they beat Kentucky, when they head to Knoxville for the final game of the year, they will know that they will be playing for a playoff spot.
Well, the reason I believe that, first of all, I don't believe for a minute that either Oklahoma or Texas get through the gauntlet that they have to get through. I just don't believe it. Notre Dame would be another one that could go down. Pittsburgh, I know the line's 12.5. I think Pittsburgh plays it tougher than that. I think Pittsburgh's pretty good.
Yeah, as of right now, I think so too. Their quarterback, their true freshman quarterback's very good. So I could totally see that.
It will take more than that. And the truth of it is, some of this is because some of the big games Thanksgiving weekend are on Friday. Georgia Tech from Mercedes-Benz. A&M Texas from Hook'em Horns territory. You like that? A little visual. Wow, that's nice.
Got to give the horns up, horns down. There is a doomsday scenario for the ACC because the highest ranked ACC team as of right now is Miami at number 15. They have 5 teams in there with Virginia, Louisville, Pittsburgh, and I'm missing one.
Georgia Tech.
That was the other one. Glossed right over.
Did I tell you I did some games there?
Yeah, I think
once?
so.
Yeah.
That in Memphis, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a doomsday scenario for the ACC, and that would be Duke winning the conference. They would be a 4-loss team, which means by the letter of the law, you have your 5 highest ranked conference champions. Now, most people assume that the ACC would be included in that, but if Duke were to win it, James Madison were to win out, and then let's say USF wins the American, the ACC would not be represented.
Well,
they better hope Duke doesn't win it.
I'll say this. I want Georgia Tech to get there.
Georgia Tech and Virginia are the 2 highest, or they're the top of the standings in the ACC, which doesn't make sense because Virginia lost to NC State, but that wasn't considered a conference game because it was so early on in the year, which is stupid.
Well, now Virginia has also fallen to Wake Forest Saturday.
Yep.
And Georgia Tech got beat by NC State.
NC State's trying to ruin everybody's
big old shootout
season.
Yeah.
Michigan State is being forced to vacate 14 wins from 2022 to 2024 under Mel Tucker.
The Mel Tucker era.
Due to 3 ineligible players competing that are no longer on the roster. But what does vacating wins really do? Because
nothing.
People remember that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
To me, that is a much ado about nothing.
Just like vacating Reggie Bush's Heisman. Nobody forgot that he won it.
It means that you have to put in the media guide that you went and whatever. But the problem is media guides don't really exist anymore. They're all electronic.
Right. Doesn't mean much. We had some great college basketball last night as Louisville beat rival Kentucky
Sure did.
from the KFC Yum Center. I'm trying to find the final score. I know Louisville shot the leather off the ball. They beat Kentucky 96-88. They actually
missed about 8 free throws in a row
I was about to say,
toward the end of it.
They could have had well over 100. So they beat Louisville last night. Florida almost lost to Florida State, but they pulled that one out 78-76. Illinois beat Texas Tech in Champaign 81-77.
Have you ever been to the Yum Center?
I've driven past the Yum Center.
Okay.
I want to go inside, though.
I've been to a game.
Is it loud?
When I went, Louisville was in the middle of getting ready to fire. Who was it they were getting ready to fire? Gosh, I don't remember who it was. It was an interim after they fired whoever and then hired Kenny Payne, who they have since fired.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Kelsey is sort of the hero in Louisville because he has turned that thing around.
Fast.
Big time.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Louisville shot very, very well yesterday. I think they said on the broadcast it was their first sold-out game in 3 seasons.
I believe it. First of all, it's about a 22,000-seat arena.
Mm-hmm.
And when things started going bad, like I went to a final regular season game under an interim coach, and they had 5,000, 6,000 there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lonely place when that's all you got. But it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've driven past it several times. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So Creighton, also another ranked matchup. They got boat raced at Gonzaga yesterday, 90-63.
Wow.
Gonzaga looked really good on defense. And then their big man, Graham Ike, started hitting threes left and right. So he's never done that before.
No, I didn't know he had that kind of range.
Yeah, he hit 4.
Wow.
Which was very surprising. So watch out for the Zags.
They're pretty good.
The Giants, the New York Giants, are going to start Jameis Winston this week since Jackson Dart is in concussion protocol, and he actually skipped over Russell Wilson. So they're going with Jameis Winston.
I think it's them saying we've seen enough on and thanks to a listener who sent this to me. It was David Padgett who was their interim at the time.
Okay.
So, okay, they tried Russell Wilson early. They didn't like the results. And so they're going with Jameis, who is a turnover machine.
He's fun to listen to.
Oh, yeah. But he'll turn it over.
He'll turn that thing over. Yeah. Jair Alexander, who just signed with the Eagles a week ago, has since told the organization that he's stepping away from football until further notice.
That's an unusual deal. And I bet there's a little bit of why didn't you tell us this on the front end?
It's sad because he was an all-pro guy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
How quickly his career kind of just fell apart. So Louisville guy.
Hope that whatever he needs, that he's able to get it.
Absolutely. Tennessee is looking to expand Neyland Stadium in the north end zone. So I guess they had to take out seats due to putting the Jumbotron there, but now they're trying to expand. Danny White said that earlier today.
What does that mean? I mean,
just a couple, I don't know, maybe 1,000 more seats.
Where would you put them?
Not sure. They said the north end zone, but.
Okay.
And I got one more thing, and I don't know how true this is. I haven't fact checked it, but I heard it on the Chase and Big Joe show earlier that Titans games are actually they're not airing them in Knoxville or Chattanooga on the I guess it's on Fox this week. So the national Fox channel will not air Titans versus Texans in Knoxville or Chattanooga. That's a problem, if true.
Okay. Well, that is interesting. I would not see that as a positive for the franchise, but there are not a lot of positives right now.
Nobody wants to watch them.
Okay. After the break, Mike Organ, hardest working man in Nashville sports, will join us. We'll get into items like the Music City Bowl and gambling in sports. Emmanuel Classe. Dumb. Really dumb. Stay tuned. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back on this Wednesday afternoon. It's a beautiful Wednesday. If you're able to get out later, do so before it gets dark at 4:55.
I get depressed when you say that.
Yeah, I get very
it's
depressed
terrible.
with that.
Terrible.
I get depressed with a runny nose as well.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. That's day 3 of the Snot Fest. So let's bring Mike Organ to our microphones. Mike, are you there?
I am here, George. How are you?
Beautiful. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to bring
today at least.
Yeah. It could be a whole lot worse. It could be Monday.
Yeah, that's true.
So I want to start this with something that a listener posted for us a few minutes ago. And here it is. Has anybody noticed that there is maybe a 50-50 chance that there will not be an SEC team available for the Music City Bowl this year? Now, I'll admit, Mike, on the front end, I haven't paid a lot of attention. I haven't played where are teams going? Do you think that's likely?
I don't think so. I wonder if, at one point I thought Tennessee was headed for the Music City Bowl. But I think they have to win out probably to get in because the Music City Bowl is a little bit above what it used to be, and 7 wins wouldn't get Tennessee in. So I guess it is a possibility because of so many that would play up in the college football playoffs. Of course, Vanderbilt would be a possibility if Vanderbilt doesn't get in. Scott Ramsey and I discussed that, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he said it was something that he would sit down with Candace and talk about if Vanderbilt doesn't get in. He certainly wouldn't be opposed to having the hometown team in his bowl with all the excitement that surrounds that team.
Yeah, and Diego Pavia has become kind of a national draw. He gets a ton of attention, probably more attention than any Vandy football player, since maybe Jay Cutler?
I'd say at least, and maybe more. People forget Jay's record was 11-35, George. Jay was a great quarterback. All the tools, mechanically, he had some players around him. He had a good offensive line with Justin Geisinger, who protected him, who's the coach now at FRA. I don't think Justin gave up a sack for his last 2 years. Again, Jay won 11 games. He beat Tennessee, first quarterback to beat Tennessee, I think, in over 20 years. But Pavia wins games. We saw it last week when, if that was a Vanderbilt team that you and I grew up with, they don't come back on Auburn from being down that much. Against Texas, they don't come back and scare Texas that much. They, and when Cutler was playing, that was the old Vanderbilt that, they could move up and down the field, but they couldn't get in the end zone. So, I think Pavia is probably a more popular quarterback than Cutler was.
Yeah, and speaking of which, let me throw this out here again, because you may have some new kind of numbers or stats to give me. Vanderbilt football has not always been a popular read, but they also haven't always been contending to get in a college football playoff. In the newspaper business, what is Vandy football doing for you all right now?
Oh, it's as popular as it's been probably ever. Modern day history, going back to before we got the Titans and the Predators, back when, the Sounds were on the front page every day, and Vanderbilt was on the front page every day, and Tennessee football was on the front page every day. I'd say it's every bit as that popular, and even more popular, George, because now, that was popular back then in Middle Tennessee, which was our circulation. But now with the internet, you got people from all over the country, all over the world that are reading about Vanderbilt in general, and Pavia in particular. He's as popular as Vanderbilt. We see that. We put Pavia, if he's in the story, we put him in the headline of every story, because that's what people are searching for, is they want to read about this kid, that turned Vanderbilt around last year and then somehow managed to keep them going in the right direction, even after everybody else figured out what he was, what he could do. He reinvented himself this year to a degree, and made himself a better passer, more of a deep threat, while maintaining his ability to run.
Okay, the next thing I want to get to is certainly not local, but have you paid any attention, and obviously as a baseball fan I have, to the name Emmanuel Clase?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't.
Okay, bear with me here for a minute. Emmanuel Clase is one of the probably 3 or 4 most elite closers in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
And as such, for the Guardians, did I say Indians?
You said Indians about 1 to 200 times.
Okay. Cleveland Guardians. Anyway, he is one of the 2 pitchers that has been indicted in this whole, pitch scam, if you want to call it that. That if the stuff I have read is true, he and the other guy, starting pitcher Luis Ortiz, will never throw another pitch as Major League Baseball pitchers. They both face up to 65 years in prison in a scheme that involved, Mike, these betting sites. Apparently, you can bet like on a pitcher's first pitch when he comes into a game. Right. And apparently, MLB, FanDuel, whatever, got tipped off that this guy's first pitch in about 10 relief appearances in a row was a ball that went into the dirt way outside. And now they have gathered evidence where they say that, he was involved with people that, bet on this kind of stuff, and he received money for helping them.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, George, where's this going? Mike, I believe in the next couple of years, with the way things are, we are going to have a huge fix.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. There's no telling what has gone on. This got caught. What hasn't been caught? What has happened that hasn't been caught? First team to score in a normal college basketball game. If somebody knew about that and their team wasn't supposed to score first, who missed a shot on purpose? Things that seem to be innocent. And who knows what hasn't been caught? There was a reason that betting and gambling wasn't allowed for so long, and I don't know what we thought, why we thought it'd be okay to just all of a sudden, which is basically what we did, say, yeah, it's okay. Everybody will abide by the rules. Nobody will, there's no telling what's going to be uncovered in the next few years. I mean, what you told me sounded absurd as you were telling me, but then I started to think, who knows who else has done this? I mean, this is something that could be done and undetected, and people get away with it. And who knows how many people have gotten away with it?
There's a writer with The Athletic who has detailed what is in the indictment. Holy cow, it's scary. And so, Mike,
for that kind of sentence, I mean, that potential sentence, I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, 65 years in the slammer. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, if you didn't murder somebody, that is a big sentence.
Right. And Mike, I think the next move we're going to have, I think all of these leagues are going to go to the FanDuels, DraftKings, whatever, and say, look, for everybody's sake, let's stop the prop bets. Mike Organ will score 14 points in tonight's game. And I'm sitting there going, well, no, I've paid off Mike. So Mike's only going to score 12. And then he's mysteriously going to twist his ankle.
Yeah. Well, I know that it was proposed to do away with prop bets in the NCAA, and I don't know if that has gone through yet or not. But yes, prop bets are the ones that are the easiest to do and get away with. The others, can be a way more obvious. But I know that there was an effort made in this past year by the NCAA president to get rid of prop bets.
So for those who have not paid a ton of attention to the story, Emmanuel Clase, Cleveland Guardians, was, in my opinion, one of the 3 or 4 best closers in all of baseball. And at times, you could make the argument over the last 2 or 3 years that he has been Major League Baseball's best closer. What he is accused of is conspiring with whoever to basically rig the first pitch of appearances, where one of these FanDuel, DraftKings, whoever says you can bet on the first pitch. Is it a ball or is it a strike? Pay very close attention. Baseball, I think, is going to drop the hammer where these two, he and Luis Ortiz, are never going to pitch again in the big leagues. And Mike, my worry to the whole thing is we have only just begun.
That's exactly what I think. I mean, this can't be the only thing. This cannot be. I mean, it's just too easy. Now, at the same time, you have to ask, what compels a guy like this to do this? I mean, how much extra? Of course, he probably did make a lot of money off of it. I don't know. But
well, that's Mike. That's the funny part of the story, is for a guy that's been making close to like double-digit millions per year.
Right.
The whole take on this looks like it's under $100,000.
That's what that makes no sense. It just doesn't. I mean, unless he was just bored and wanted to do something on the side and see if he could get away with it. What does that do for him? Yes, it's tax-free money, but so what if it's under $100,000?
It is, by the way, if you really want to look this stuff up, it's a 23-page indictment that was unsealed Sunday at a Brooklyn, New York courthouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, but think about how many games are played every day in how many sports that are bet on and are including prop bets. This cannot be the one thing that was, unethical, which seems strange to be talking about in gambling, but this cannot be the only thing. There has to be so many other things. That it's kind of shocking that we've only heard about so few since all this opened up.
You're going to hear this one a bunch. Hey, tell me about Andy McCullum getting fired at Swanee. That surprised me.
Yeah, that surprised me. I don't understand the timing. I didn't understand the timing of James Franklin on a much bigger scale. I didn't understand why it went down at LSU like that, and I certainly don't understand why you do this at Swanee with one game left to play. They only play 10 games a season there, and with Saturday's the last game. Why you couldn't do this, Sunday or one day next week, I absolutely don't understand. Don't know of any violations. There are no violations that are public, and they would be public, that Swanee has incurred under Andy Mack over these last 3 years. It's baffling, to be honest. The president put out a statement thanking Andy for what he did. No hint of scandal or anything, any wrongdoings whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't get it. And we all know Andy. Everybody around here is, biased because we've known him so long, and we hope to see him bounce back and get back in the game if he wants to. Andy's, I think Andy's about 64, 65 now. So
yeah,
he's coached for a long time. Who knows if he wants back in? But if he wants back in, I sure hope he can get back in And this is a shame. I don't know what Swanee, I didn't know wins and losses were that big a deal at Swanee. They haven't had a winning program in quite a while. I think going back to about 18, something like that, 7-8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So that would caught me off guard.
Parker, say hello to Mike Organ.
Speaking of programs that haven't won in a while, but have turned things around, Tennessee Tech, they're 10-0 and they play Kentucky this weekend. There's a lot more chatter about this game than I thought there would be. Some people are saying that Tennessee Tech could have Kentucky on upset alert. I struggle to believe that. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I don't see that at all. If Tech can stay within 20, 24 points of Kentucky, then that'll be fine. Within 3 touchdowns, that would be a win. Not going to hurt Tennessee Tech in any way. They're going to win the OVC going away. They're going to finish the season undefeated in the conference. It's going to be another good season. They tied for the regular season championship last year. In a 4-way tie. This year they'll win it outright, and they'll go into the playoffs strong. And a lot of people around here pulling for them to get to the championship, with the championship game being played at Vanderbilt on January 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. It's early in January, but I wouldn't think that there's any chance of them upsetting Kentucky.
How much of a national championship contender do you think that they are? It's hard to get a read on it because you still have the North Dakota states of the world, the Montana states, and all the Dakota schools, all the schools up there. But how much of a national championship contender do you perceive Tennessee Tech to be?
You're exactly right. The FCS is almost divided into 2 sections. That section in the Northeast that has all those teams that are on a completely different level. Tennessee State has seen it over the last 3 years since they've dabbled in that area and gone up and played North Dakota State, and then Montana, and then North Dakota State's come back down here and played them and just absolutely manhandled them when Tennessee State was pretty good, got in the playoffs itself, but still lost by almost 50 points to North Dakota State, which won the national championship. But they're all good up there. Brandon Fisher, who was the defensive coordinator for Eddie at Tennessee State and played at Montana. Jeff Fisher's son just would tell me about the differences. And Brandon was at Auburn before he came to Tennessee State, so he's seen big time football. He would compare it to being an SEC type program where everything is so meticulous, everything has a meaning, not just on the field on game days on Saturdays, but just the program throughout. And that's what he told Eddie George about that. That's why Eddie took his team up there. He wanted his team to see it up close, and they went up a day early just so they could see how things are run up there. So until those teams, to answer your question, as long as those teams up there are still around and doing what they're doing, it's going to be hard for anybody else to get in there. But you see it sometimes, from time to time. We've seen some teams come up in the FCS and contend for a year or 2, and maybe Tech can do that this year. That's what I think a lot of people are hoping. The quarterback is from Eastern Washington. He knows what it's like up there. He can tell his teammates at Tech what to expect. So, we go in hoping that they can compete and make it maybe to the semifinals, and just a dream season would be to get to the championship.
And it's next season they're moving to the SoCon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much do you think that'll be any different for Tennessee Tech? Speaking about the level of competition.
They are certainly going in with great momentum. And like I said, coming off of back-to-back championships in the OVC. The OVC, however, is not nearly on the same level with the SoCon. They're going into a conference that's a perfect fit for them geologically, geography-wise. They're close to these teams, much closer than what the OVC became. They don't have to go to Illinois and Indiana and some of the places they were going. All the teams are going to be close by. And I think, that they go in as a favorite to contend, at least, if not a favorite. I think they go in with what they've done in these 2 years, with what Wilder has pulled off. As long as they keep him there and he continues to, and he'll bring in good players now because they've established themselves as a landing spot for players, from the FBS that aren't getting playing time to go. When you have the kind of success he's had and sustained it for 2 years, they'll get players that are looking for somewhere. That'll be the first place they'll look, as a team like that. And I think they go in with, obviously, with great momentum, and I think they go in as a contender next year.
To me, the big question, Mike, is can they keep him?
That's a big question. That is a huge question. And he had been out of it for 2 or 3 years, George. And I don't know how much he's looking to, he's an older, more experienced guy. I don't know how much he's looking to climb. Now, if somebody comes in and throws an offer of a couple of $1 million at him, that can change his family tree, then, I think he's got to do it for his family. But the other thing, he wants his staff. He and his offensive coordinator have been together going back years. 10, 15 years, something like that. And that's what I like about it. When they go somewhere, they don't look at the talent and say, okay, you're going to adjust to what we do and we'll have to go through some hard times. No, they look at their talent and they mold the game, the philosophy around the talent that they have. And that's going to be really important with players transferring and coming up or down, that, it may be a completely different team next year, but he's shown the ability to adjust to whatever is needed. So I think he's not going to be as likely to leave as somebody else who's had the kind of success he's had in 2 years. But again, at the same time, you never say never when we're talking about the kind of money that could be put in front of him.
Mike, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
All right, George, look forward to it. Thanks to you and Parker.
Absolutely. That's Mike Organ, hardest working man in Nashville sports, from the Tennessean. After the break, some new news on the whole Emmanuel Clase stuff that I think you'll find interesting. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, basket game last season. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
in career.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. We will fit your budget and your needs.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Well, we are back. Let me say up front that as somebody who considers himself a hardcore baseball fan, I have probably paid more attention to the Emmanuel Clase story than a lot of people. Ironically, when all this started to go down in July, it was about 3 days before the trade deadline. And the rumors had been out there that the Guardians were going to trade him. At the time, it didn't look like the Guardians were going to make a playoff run. And lo and behold, that's exactly what they did. And let me apologize again for the old snot fest there. But anyway, here's the point of this. Story comes out, and I apologize for not having seen this when I talked to Mike about it. Major League Baseball will cap pitch level bets at $200 and bar them from parlays under new rules made with major sports books. Now, the commissioner, in his infinite wisdom, defended the fact that sports books and MLB have partnerships. He says that's very important for security reasons. To me, that's a load of BS that basically is, we need the money, we want the money, and screw it if it doesn't look, proper. If you go back several years ago, Alabama fired their baseball coach because he gave information to a friend who then placed a bet, of all places, at Great American Small Park in Cincinnati, for an unusual amount of money for a college baseball game. Anyway, where I'm going with this is this. I believe Major League Baseball, now they might wait until the actual trial to basically declare these two permanently ineligible. But if you have read the evidence, Ortiz's attorney tried to come out and say the evidence is flimsy. It's, not all that good. I've read it. It's pretty damaging. They've gone to great lengths on what it is they think they have found. They either have made one of the most colossal blunders of an accusation, or they've got these guys dead to right.
I think it's the latter versus the
I
former.
do think it's the latter, but you also have to remember we live in a country where, whether you buy it or not, people are innocent until proven guilty. And you have to kind of take that into account. But I will say this, having read some of the indictment material, it's pretty damning.
And it's all this for how much did he place the bet for? Or whoever placed the bet, was it $100,000?
It looks to me like his total take, Emmanuel Clase, it looks like his total take for all of this, according to what's being put out there, is less than $100,000 total.
My gosh.
And this guy was making millions. I don't have the exact how many millions in front of me, but he's one of the 2 or 3 or 4 best closers in big league baseball. He's making damn good money. And he appears to have littered that all away over something incredibly stupid.
And I don't think we can make it much more. I mean, it's already really bad. You risk your legacy all for money that you already have. I can't seem to wrap my mind around it. Unless he was doing it for fun, unless he was trying to help some buddies make some money, that's about the only thing that I can think of. But even that, it's not worth it.
I'm giving them a loan.
Yeah.
If
yeah,
they
you
need,
have the
if
money.
they need money that bad.
You're not hurting for $100,000.
One of the things that they allege is that he took $50,000 out of his own checking account to help fund some of this.
Oh my gosh. So it gets worse.
Oh, I mean, look, I would encourage anybody who's interested, try to go to The Athletic if you subscribe to it, because there's a writer, and I wish I could tell you his name right now, but there's a writer for The Athletic who's done a really good job of telling you exactly what's what.
Yeah. I need to go check out the story because I didn't know some of those details. So you mentioned at the start some details that you didn't know. What was the second part? It had to do with the parlay. So the MLB's capping any pitch bets at $200, and then there was a second part you mentioned about parlays.
Oh gosh, I think I've lost.
So it sounds like the MLB is taking some sort of action with this, correct? Since they're capping the bet number at 200.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing. Okay, if you're really serious, and I do think to a point Major League Baseball is very serious about this being the worst thing that a player can do. See Pete Rose. But at the same time, don't take money from them. Don't get in partnerships with them. This whole we need this for security purposes is BS. It is.
Same thing with all the professional leagues, the NFL, the NBA. Right. I mean, it's the same thing. If you're encouraging this, and technically you may not be encouraging illegal crime activities, but if you're encouraging sports betting of any type, there are going to be those out there who you give them a little bit and they take a mile. So I think that's just, we're seeing the downsides of this.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the story and where I got it.
Do you think that there's going to be a bigger story regarding all this than what we just saw in the NBA with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, first of all, it looks pretty bad when you've got a sitting head coach. I mean, the NBA's got a problem here too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the truth of it is, excuse me, if you took a poll right now and you got truthful answers, you would be shocked by how many Division I athletes are saying they bet on sports. I mean, it wouldn't come up 2%.
Yeah, it's probably,
you know that better than I do.
No, 100%. I know for a fact there are that just haven't come clean. I mean, it's kind of the same thing pre-NIL. You can't tell me there weren't coaches buying players. I mean, it happened. It just was under the table, and nobody found out about it.
The writer with The Athletic is Zach Meisel, Meisel. He talks about a 23-page indictment that was unsealed Sunday at a Brooklyn, New York courthouse. The two had been on paid leave for about the last 4 months. And I'm assuming, although I don't know this for sure, that sort of goes away here.
Oh, yeah. No, that once we get a conclusive, indictment, it's done.
If I was going to guess, and I got nothing to base this on, MLB will place them on the permanently ineligible list before there's ever a verdict in court, because I think they've been doing their own investigating, and I think at some point they're going to come out and say, look, we don't need a court of law to tell us. We know, we've investigated, we've got our own stuff.
Did they say when the court date was? I know I'm throwing all these questions at you.
Well, first of all, Ortiz was arrested Sunday in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Clase is out of the country, and so far, to my knowledge, has not been detained.
Man, I'm going to start following this story more closely than I already have. Man.
Yeah. So let me kind of tell people what's coming up here in a few minutes. Will Perdue is in town today. He'll actually be at the Vandy Eastern Kentucky game, and he participated in our Wilson Bank and Trust Sports Speaker Series earlier this afternoon. A lot of you, obviously, at work or doing whatever during the day, could not attend. And so what we're going to do is let you hear segments number 2 and 3, where Will gets into NIL and why he's willing to get involved in it. I think you'll find the interview very interesting. Will is always entertaining. He's got some good info to lay out there, and I think all of you will enjoy listening. While you're doing that, I'll probably blow my nose about 100 times. I'm tired of this. This is the George Plaster Show. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Introducing the Putting Zone, which offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. The Putting Zone will open to the public Saturday, November the 22nd. And what a great way to spend the holiday season with family and friends. It's located at 3040 Sidco Drive near 100 Oaks. Get ready to improve your golf game. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Introducing the Putting Zone, which offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. The Putting Zone will open to the public Saturday, November the 22nd. And what a great way to spend the holiday season with family and friends. It's located at 3040 Sidco Drive near 100 Oaks. Get ready to improve your golf game.
The perfect gift, lavish and luxurious, yet affordable, breathtaking and joy-inspiring, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. A spa day she customizes exactly the way she wants. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury, something special that shows how much you care. A gift card from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Get ready for a knockout night. UFC 322 hits the big screens at Twin Peaks on November 15th. Wall-to-wall TVs, crave-worthy eats, and the best fight night atmosphere outside the arena. Only at Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views in Cool Springs and Madison.
Ponce Law is the only injury law firm with the Crash Cam Network, capturing accident footage on highways across Middle Tennessee. Injured in an accident? Call Ponce Law. We offer a no-fee guarantee, and for over 30 years, we've been helping injured people just like you. We've been voted best law firm multiple times. I'm Michael Ponce. If you've been injured, call us today at 615-244-4321. Ponce Law, justice for all.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. For the first time since 2020, Louisville defeated Kentucky in basketball. Who is the coach for the Cardinals in 2020?
Let's go with David Patchett.
Quick answer.
Yeah. Chris Mack. Oh, wow.
Chris Mack. He is, where is he now?
Charleston Southern.
Was he at Xavier?
He was.
Yeah, he was at Xavier before Louisville, and then now Charleston.
I believe he's at Charleston Southern.
Okay. I can double check on that. But that's, sounds about right.
Good answer. Good basketball coach, by the way. Got rumored at Vandy, but that never really seemed to have a lot of traction.
I remember that.
So officially, we welcome all of you into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Earlier today, Will Perdue was part of our Wilson Bank and Trust Sports Speaker Series. What you're going to hear is the second segment of the interview where we get knee-deep into NIL kind of stuff that Will is involved in with the Nashville basketball, and I don't remember what the I was. That's terrible. Anyway, listen, you'll find out. We welcome all of you back in to the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, and this is part of the Wilson Bank and Trust Sports Speaker Series. My cold is not part of it, but the speaker is, and the speaker is a longtime friend, a great friend for me, and that's former Vanderbilt basketball star Will Perdue. Thank you for being here.
As always, George, that's all you got to do is ask.
Okay, behind us are the words Nashville Basketball Initiative, and you're heavily involved in that. Talk to me about it.
Okay, so as we briefly touched on in the first segment, the landscape of college athletics has changed dramatically, right? You think about this. A lot of people, I'm surprised a lot of people don't know this, but the NCAA is a $1 billion nonprofit.
Nonprofit?
I think that's officially their government designation.
Thanks for sharing that.
But my point is $1 billion off of athletics in college. So you eventually got to the point, and I always felt like people were like, oh, you believe that athletes should be paid. I said, I don't know about necessarily be paid per se, but they should be rewarded for what it is they're accomplishing at their universities, because these universities and these conferences are making so much money, right? But for such a long time, it was considered amateurism. This is an amateur sport at this level. And we, quite honestly, just go back to the Olympics. We're the only country where our athletes were amateurs in the Olympics, right? And at times, we paid dearly for that. But my point is that the NCAA eventually agreed to allow athletes in all sports to get paid. I think it became the wild, wild west, but there needs to be some limitations. But right now there are some rules and some structure. Now we have NIL, name, image, and likeness. So the way that things are set up as we speak today, this could change tomorrow as far as we know, because it's constantly evolving.
Very fluid.
Yes, is that you have revenue share at every university. And what revenue share is each school is responsible for now raising $20.5 million currently, and that will increase by 4% every year over 10 years. And the school's responsible for raising that money to then share with the athletes, right? So,
I thought you were going to say share with the quarterbacks.
Well, they get a big chunk of it, right? Even in the NFL, they're the highest paid position.
Raise your kids to be quarterbacks. Yes. That's the lesson to be learned.
So you take the $20.5 million, and what most of the schools are doing, not all, but most, they're taking 2.5 off the top, then to, put back into the university for scholarships, expenses, whatever it may be, right? To kind of get themselves back to whole, per se. So that leaves you with $18 million in revenue share to share with the athletes. Most of your conferences are putting out models that they would like to see all their participants, the teams, follow. And the SEC put out a model that says 75% of that, and this was based off the revenue that comes into the school, right? So they believe that 75% goes to football, 15%, so 75% is what, approximately 13 million and some change.
Yeah.
Right? 15% is 2.75 million. Now that's 90%, and the other 10% goes to the other sports, most notably baseball and women's basketball, right? And that formula is kind of based off of what that each sport actually brings in from a revenue standpoint to share it with the athletes, right? But basketball, for example, you get 2.7 million to share with the athletes. But when you take a roster whose budget, in the SEC, most of your men's basketball teams, the budget is probably anywhere between 5 and 10 million, right? So even your lowest budget of the 16 teams in the SEC is 5 million. That means that 5 minus 2.7 gives you what, George?
2.3.
Right. Is considered above and beyond revenue share.
Why are you acting shocked that I knew that?
I'm not. I'm just allowing you a chance to participate.
Thank you. That was really nice.
So where does that 2.3 come from? The way that the NCAA has now described it is that above and beyond the 2.7, which is rev share, which every school is responsible for, and most of the schools now have stepped up and said, this is all we're going to deal with from our end. I understand your budget is between 5 and 10, but above and beyond, Coach Byington, you're responsible for. Have at it. Now, you also have rules that you have to abide by. You have a clearinghouse, which is Deloitte, that any of these name, image, and likeness deals that you get, you have to run it by, right?
Yep.
Clearinghouse is how they refer to it. And they either say yes or no, right? So every coach now is looking for that above and beyond, so that when they're negotiating with these players' agents, that's the other thing now, all these college kids have agents, right, to help negotiate these deals.
Handlers.
Yes. And quite
So to
honestly,
speak.
mentioning that, you were my handler for a while, because when I told you I wanted to get into this business, you basically helped me. You gave me advice. You made phone calls on my behalf. I was able to use you as a resource. You were all very helpful, right? Unfortunately, the financial windfall you received was zero.
Nothing.
But I will say very nice things about you at your funeral.
Thank you. Thank you. So
All right.
you intend to be there?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I think it's going to be a small gathering.
I think it's going to be a lot bigger than you think, but that's another
But
discussion.
I'll never know.
That's, But you're the guy that will put a voice recorder in the casket,
thanking everybody,
and making the joke, "Let me out of here, I'm still alive."
Yeah.
Everybody will freak out, and you'll get the biggest laugh as you look down upon us.
The line I use on the air, "I hate to do this, but I got to run." So
now they've talked about, and every school has acknowledged, to get this above and beyond, you have to have the third party, right? And that's what we are now. The Nashville Basketball Initiative, we've become the third party to try to help Mark raise that money above and beyond the 2.7. But I also want to be very clear, we're not just talking about NIL. Perfect example is we have a social event tonight from 5:30 to 6:30 in the lobby of the Vanderbilt Marriott. And I think a majority of the people that you're going to see there tonight are former players. We're trying to, reconnect with a lot of the former players, because what people don't understand is how many former Vanderbilt football players, basketball players live in Nashville, have made Nashville their home. So we're trying to, eliminate the apathy that was there for so long. Get these guys, in this case, the men's basketball program, get these alumni back into the fold, right? And become a strong union to show a nice front that people like yourself, Wilson Bank and Trust, they want to be part of this community. Right? The community bank, we have a community of former, players, alumni, students, the whole thing. Because I fully believe Mark is a great coach, right? I think Candace did an excellent job with this hire, right? And the other reason why I'm getting involved is that, I have to be very transparent. I got to go backwards before I go forwards. I was at Jerry Stackhouse's press conference, right? Candace reached out, "Would you please come, go to the press conference?" I sat there in the front row right next to Shane Foster, right? And I know Jerry from the NBA. The press conference is over, Jerry and I talk. I think he was a very intelligent, not only player, but a coach. He had weaknesses, and that's a time for a different story, but I told him, I said, "Here's my number, you call me if you ever need anything." Well, he never called. So that was his fault. But I also called once or twice, never got a response, I gave up. That's my fault. Because of a lack of communication, I shouldn't have given up. And because of, disappointment with the lack of success, I still should have tried to help him more. Try to help him become successful. I think, unfortunately, he was kind of set up to fail. And that's unfortunate. But I also wanted to make sure that whoever the next guy is, and I don't care who it would have been. In this case, it happens to be Mark Byington. Because of my love for Vanderbilt and Nashville, I said, I can't sit on the outside and criticize without really going all in and learning what it is and how I can help and really provide a driving force. And then if I fail, then I truly understand what it is, and then I can kind of bow out gracefully and be like, I tried.
We all make decisions as to, why we're going to get involved. People have asked me about the Preds thing, which is now 18 years ago. And it was this feeling of mine that if we lost that team, our city was going to take a huge hit in public perception around the country.
No doubt about it.
What I want to know is, when did you decide, okay, I'm going to be the face behind Nashville Basketball Initiative? The fact that you love Vanderbilt basketball is no secret to anybody, but the willingness to step up to do something like this, that requires some real work. When and why did you decide, I'm going to do it?
Well, it happened about 2 years ago, right? Even before, kind of when NIL started.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not a genius here, right? Mr. Obvious, but NIL is the one way, or should I say NIL is the great equalizer in college athletics, right? Because when it comes to recruiting, I wasn't a 5-star recruit. CM Newton saw potential, so he went after a guy with potential. But it's the responsibility of the coaching staff then to develop that potential. Vanderbilt was a place where you went out and recruited potential. And you hope that that potential develops in years 3 and 4 is when you're getting your bang for the buck. As far as,
it wasn't like Kentucky.
No, you're not Kentucky. Now, now you talk about Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, what Rick Barnes is doing up the road in Knoxville is very impressive, right? It's just, even what you considered, what Nate Oates is doing in Alabama, which is a football powerhouse. This dude's been unbelievable, what he's been able to do. But also, they have so many more resources than Vanderbilt, right? Even when you talk about the alumni base, ours is so much smaller. But because of the lack of success over the, I don't know how many last couple of years, apathy had kind of set in. And even when you're watching those games on TV, and as much as the SEC was trying to really just, focus on the floor so you couldn't see how many empty seats there were in Memorial Gymnasium, you could still see them.
Sure, you and I were talking about it a lot. It hurt to go in that great old building and see that. And for me, not only did it hurt, it kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, same thing. But
same kind of deal.
But you can't sit there and have these conversations about how pissed off you are without doing something about it. So I decided to, if there's somebody that's going to do this, it probably would be best, and maybe get the most reaction and help if I did it. Right now, and I'm very fortunate that I have a gentleman, Robert Sampson, who lives in Nashville. I'm still living in Chicago because my wife's from Chicagoland area, and everybody understands that equation, right? And Robert is my eyes and ears on the ground. We talk every day, 2 or 3 times a day. I need to be here more, but I also have other, things I am responsible for in Chicago as well. But then I'll be here for the Eastern Kentucky game later tonight, and then I hope to come to more games. But he helps make this possible. And to go one step farther, we used to watch football games, and there were more fans from the opponent than there was for Vanderbilt. Well, that's not the case now, because Clark has proven that NIL works. How quickly did we all of a sudden become relevant again in the SEC?
Yeah.
Right? Because of the transfer portal and your ability to go out and get talent. But even though you can get talent, you still have to prove that you could put that talent together and win. And look what Byington did that first year. He literally went out and got 11 new guys. 11. One carryover from the previous team. And he was able to win and get this team to the NCAA tournament. But when I talk to Mark, he talks about how he's got a lot more. He came here with a certain goal to accomplish. Every coach talks about it. And it wasn't just to win a national championship, but also to make this program relevant again. Make this men's basketball program what it used to be and bring the magic back to Memorial.
The one thing, Will, that I think you're going to get the benefit of is because you and I have the same Rolodex of former player friends. We
Let's
hang
just
around.
be very clear. My Rolodex now is on my phone. Your Rolodex is still under a little plastic cover that you flip up and spin.
Perhaps. That was really nice. You'd be surprised how far I've come. Your number is in my phone.
So if I asked you to recite my number, you couldn't do it?
Oh, absolutely not. It's a.
But that's the way everybody is.
Is it a 302 area code?
312.
312.
That's okay.
That was close. Who cares? So the former player part is very strong. I've always believed that a lot of the coaches have not tapped into the former player resource and the desire to help in any way they could. That's the one thing I think you are going to have.
Well, that's part of it. Every coach comes in with that desire. But now, Mark is just not a basketball coach. He's a general manager. He's a psychologist.
He's a banker.
He's a banker, yep. But even like yesterday, Robert and I, along with Barry Booker, went to practice. And he rolled up, said hello. He says, listen, guys, I'm sorry, I got to go. I really need to see my son scrimmage. Because when we're in the Bahamas during the basketball season, I'm going to miss a couple of his games, right? So he is trying to piece together his life as well even just to go see his son play high school basketball, right? So it's like one of those things. He's admitted he needs help on so many facets, because what people also don't understand, football coaches, head coaches, and basketball head coaches, they are the ones that actually pay their assistants, not the university, right? They negotiate their contract, and in their contract is a provision of, okay, you get this much money for your assistant coach's pool. It's not like, it'd be like, I'm the head coach, and I'm like, yeah, I want George Plaster as an assistant, and then you go and negotiate your contract with Candace. That's not how it works. You and I sit down and said, I want you as an assistant. This is what I can afford to pay you. Yeah. And I think what people forget about, though, is what's the cost of living in Nashville compared to Starkville, Mississippi, or Athens, Georgia, or Columbia, Missouri, or Gainesville, Florida, right? I felt bad for the new staff of the men's basketball team and the football team, because think about how far north or east or west, can't go south anymore. The south is where it costs the most money to live in Nashville. But they had to go to these areas just to find affordable housing, and even to find available housing, because of how Nashville has exploded.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that, and then when we come back, I'm going to ask you, when a person hears this afternoon, what is it they can or can't do to try to help you in those 3 words, Nashville Basketball Initiative? Hold on to that. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Time. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. We welcome all of you back to the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue as part of our Wilson Bank
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN.
Vanderbilt basketball, a man who has 4 championship rings from his days in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls, the San Antonio Spurs, Portland was in there at some point.
I had a cup of coffee at Portland.
Say that again.
I had a cup of coffee at Portland. That means I was there for a year.
Yeah.
It was towards the end of my career. So I uncharacteristically, a lot of times don't mention Portland. I had a great time and loved living in the city. Just like I said, towards the end of my career, didn't really play a lot, so I don't necessarily have the fond memories of Portland like I do Chicago and San Antonio.
Okay. Do you have one of the rings on right now?
Yeah, so actually I don't wear these a lot, George, but I wear these to what I consider to be special occasions. So coming here today, and we're in town doing a lot of stuff with the Nashville Basketball Initiative, but this is another thing, as I've gotten older, I've started to realize that every time I run into people, they're like, do you happen to have one of your rings on you? And I'm like, no. Where are your rings? They're in a safety deposit box.
Nobody's business.
So I decided that for this reason, I'm going to start wearing them I just don't wear them every day.
Yeah.
But like when I do events that I think are appropriate to have this, I'm going to start wearing them. And I'm in town for, the Nashville Basketball Initiative, but also go to the game tonight. And so I kind of felt like that was the proper venue reason. And I think people, I forget, I take it for granted because I have them, but I forget, not by me, but how cool people think it is because they want to see them. Because just, when I say average person, I mean somebody that has not had the experience of playing professional sports. They don't have that opportunity to see something of that magnitude when you see, they all see this is what the rings look like, but they've actually never personally seen one. And everybody likes to put it on, take a photo, and that's actually pretty cool, and I kind of have, sometimes I take that for granted.
So before we finished the last segment, I told you I would kind of ask the nebulous softball, which is, if a person's listening to this and they say, okay, I'm into what Will Perdue's selling here, how can they help you?
Like most things, areas, George, where you've actually improved dramatically. You can find us on social media, X at NashvilleNBI.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. It's all Nashville NBI, right? And that's the best way to get a hold of us. I monitor that, but more so Robert monitors that on an hourly basis. A lot of people, actually Eugene, even walked up to me when he showed up fashionably late. And showed a picture of. Now, Eugene.
That was uncalled for.
Well, when you show up late, you open yourself up for criticism. But that's just, that's also a sign of respect when you pick on somebody.
Right.
All right.
Like when you were 22 minutes late this morning to Pancake Pantry.
Now, if I would have known you were paying, I would have been 22 minutes early, but you paid anyways. But you are correct, right? But he's also a Vanderbilt guy, right? He understands the definition of sacrifice, playing in the team atmosphere. But my point is, he popped up, held the phone up, and said, hey, I got this picture today, and I don't know why I wasn't invited. It was a picture of me, Barry Booker, and Barry Goheen, because we went to dinner last night. And when we came out, Robert took a picture, put it up on social, right? And that's how people recognize things these days. I'm going to start getting distracted. I think, is that actually the Predators practicing?
No, but the talent is very, like, there are days you look out there and it looks like an NHL team. Some of those kids are that good.
So nicely done. Very impressive. But all right, let's ask a few questions.
Okay. Eugene, if you will, kind of stand up here. If I had known Goheen was going to be there last night, I'd have gone to dinner.
And Booker, both.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
By the way, George turned us down.
Oh, you turned.
I did. Well, I had no idea that Barry Goheen would be here. What do you got for Will?
So you talk about, the NIL and how important it is. How important do you see the general manager role and also all of this as far as finding those right players?
I think that's quite honestly, that position is as important or more so than the coach, right? Because the interesting thing is, even though the coaches right now are 100% focused on this season, this team, in the back of their mind, you know, their general managers are out there, because what people don't realize is now every game that a team plays and every game that's on TV is being recorded, because now the general manager is out there trying to identify talent on another team. Everybody knows this happens. This is just the nature of the beast. They're playing Eastern Kentucky tonight. If there's a kid out there that they really like, that they think that they feel like it might be ready to make the next step and go from Eastern to Vanderbilt, you know, they got the eye in the sky. They're filming the games. They're going to go back and break this film down and watch these guys. And all of a sudden, you know, James Thomas, I'm just pulling that name out of the air, was a guy that kind of impressed me. So let's watch James Thomas throughout the season. Does he get better? What's his strengths? What's his weaknesses? You know, you take these guys that are at some smaller schools and, you know, they're not in a Power 4 conference. Can they help us win? That's all the coaches care about. I don't care where you're at school now, but once you go into the portal, that's a name we want, right? And that guy's also watching Arkansas, Tennessee, just constantly got his face buried in film, trying to identify talent that they feel like fits into what Mark's system is, the way that Mark wants to play, but also has the personality, the work ethic. You know, that's the other thing. They're still scouting, recruiting. Nobody's signing players without meeting them and talking to them. Because even though you may have a guy that's really talented, if this guy doesn't fit in with what you're trying to do, or this guy's a diva, he may cause more problems than he solves. And that's why when you watch these tournaments and you watch these teams, sometimes you're like, this team is way too talented to be this bad. But it's because they don't mesh. They have problems in the locker room. They don't get along. It's just their personalities, there's no chemistry. Their personalities don't mesh. You know, these guys aren't willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for a team aspect. It's just there's so many equations that go into, you know, that secret sauce, as they like to call it. That's where, as you talked about, Eugene, the general manager is so important, because he's got to basically do the legwork, right? It's kind of like the same thing at your bank, right? Somebody else does the legwork. They bring you the information. You take it to your boss, and your boss goes, "You're a genius," and you're like, "Thank you." But also appreciation goes downhill as it goes uphill. And that's how they got to lean on these guys, and they talk about trust. They got to be able to trust these guys to do their job so that when the season's over, boom, we're right into recruiting for the next year.
Okay, next question out of the audience.
With the way we've seen NIL happen over the past couple years, especially last season with football, the trade, like a quote-unquote trade from UCLA to Tennessee, do you think there'll be more like trades like that in basketball and other sports as well over the next couple years?
Yes, there's going to be those mistakes time and time again, quite honestly. And that's the hard part, right? That is where you hope that the support system that these guys have are honest with that individual. Meaning, you know, like, what's Nico's last name, George?
Iamaleava.
Okay, Nico. He obviously got some bad advice. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, George.
Looks like it was from his dad.
But my point is though, he actually is playing in a different school for less money than Tennessee was going to pay him, correct?
Yes.
So he overvalued himself, right? Now, he's been important to Tennessee because Tennessee's not as good this year as they were last year, but it wasn't just because of him and him only. I get putting yourself in the transfer portal and going out and becoming a free agent. But that's also where these agents come into play. Is the agent just riding on the back of the player, or is the agent actually helping this player go to the correct school that's the best for him, the correct system? He somehow got greedy, got bad advice, and ends up at UCLA and gets paid less money. So
and
he
don't be shocked if he's back in that portal again.
Oh, yeah. But I think here's the other issue is he now also exposed himself for what he can't do instead of, showing what he can do. So sometimes a system and a way a team plays actually makes a player better than you think he is, right? So that's the equation. Who is helping these kids make these decisions? Because more times than not, if it's the parents and the parents only, even though the parents feel like that they're trying to do what's best for their child, they're getting swayed and distracted by the amount of dollar signs. Because quite honestly, a lot of these kids are not playing at the next level, right? And because of that, they want to get greedy and try to make as much money as possible. I get it. But sometimes now you're really taking the happiness of your child out of the equation, and you're now making decisions for your child. Whether Nico wants to publicly admit that or not, I guarantee you every night when he goes and leaves that practice facility and heads back to his apartment or whatever, he's regretting making that move.
Let's get another question out of the audience.
Yeah, I'm going to change gears here a little bit. Thank you for allowing me to see the ring and to hold the rings. We were talking about the ring. So going back to the ring, tell us about your Chicago Bulls. The playing days, playing with the great Michael Jordan, the championship teams. You see The Last Dance and, all these shows that are out. Just kind of tell us about your experience.
It's amazing how fascinated we all are about that era.
But that was also heightened by The Last Dance, right? So in regards to The Last Dance, when that came out during COVID, and we, for 5 weeks, watched 2 episodes, I think it was on Sunday nights, right? We watched 2 episodes every Sunday on Netflix.
In the middle of COVID.
Right. And then on Monday, I would do radio in Chicago on 670 The Score with Dan Bernstein, and we would talk about those 2 episodes.
And you came on a bunch with me.
Yes.
Because it was cool stuff. It was a great deal.
Still waiting for that check.
Yeah,
but
keep waiting.
We would talk about those 2 episodes, and then we would take phone calls and discuss that, but it heightened that interest of the Chicago Bulls, and that's something, again, because I was part of it, I kind of take for granted, and how people are still fascinated by that, because it's Michael Jordan, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, period, right? There's no comparisons. There's people that you could talk to that are in the same realm, but not as good. But people always talk about what it was like playing with him. They ask that question. It was very difficult because you had to learn how to play with him, right? You don't just, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, these are not the type of players, Ovechkin, take your choice. You don't just step on the ice, the football field, or the basketball court and be like, let's go. Because this person is at such a different level. Even though you're all professionals, it's still just a different level. So you have to figure out, okay, what can I do? I'm going to try to, obviously improve as much as possible and raise my level of play. But what people also forget is you have to raise your level of intensity. It's not just about skill set. It's about mentality, right? It's about approach. It's about, effort. And I had to realize I always prided myself on my work ethic, but this was a guy that was as good as he was. He had the talent, but he also had a superior work ethic, right? He loved practice. And if practice wasn't at the intensity that he thought it was to also make him better, but to make us better, this is when Michael started chirping and talking a lot of crap, right? Because it's just a human response to take the bait, and the intensity level rises, right? And away we go. But think about this. People don't believe me because they see video, but Michael really wasn't a trash talker. Everybody knows Larry Bird was a trash talker. But Larry did it as a humor standpoint. He didn't do it to, get himself going. He just kind of did it from a humor standpoint, right? Michael's version of trash talking was, he's in Salt Lake City one time drives down the lane and dunks on John Stockton. This is before I got there, right? And some fan jumps up and goes, "Oh, big deal. Dunk on somebody your own size." So play's still on that end of the floor. Everybody knows Mel Turpin went to Kentucky, was 7'2". He eventually comes down the lane. Turpin slides over. He dunks on him. He finds the guy in the crowd and goes, "Is he big enough?" and runs down the other end of the floor. That was his version of trash talking, right?
Yeah.
He would talk after the fact. Okay?
Love it.
But he would talk trash during practice because, honestly, he might have been up all night playing cards with people. But he wanted to get the intensity level of practice up because that made us so much better than other teams because of the intensity of our practice. And hold on.
Go ahead.
But also I talk about I've never seen another person. I've met Tiger Woods. I've not met Tom Brady, but I've met some of the greatest of all time. And Jack Nicklaus. The killer instinct that these people have and develop. You're not born with it. It's developed somewhere, somehow. Michael got it from his mother. But the killer instinct he would have during games, right? And what I mean by that is he would make up false narratives to help motivate himself. One of my first times with the Bulls, we go to Washington, and back then they were called the Wizards. And LeBradford Smith from Louisville, I think he ends up scoring 24 points in that game, right? Career high. And the media wants to make a big deal out of it. And when they go to the locker room, the Bradford's like, "Please, man, don't talk about it. Don't say anything. I'll always have this in my back pocket." But they make a big deal about it. And then they come to our locker room and make a big deal about it and talk. And that was the other thing about Michael. Always, 99% of the time, talk to the media post-game. He knew the responsibility. He knew how big of a deal that was, how important it was, right? And then they have this big gathering, and we'd all walk out unscathed, and he'd take one for the team. But Washington's on the schedule a few weeks later at home, and we're going through the walkthrough that morning, and John Paxson goes, "Hey, enjoy the show tonight." We're like, "What?" "Yeah, Michael doesn't take lightly what happened in Washington." So,
oh, wow.
We start the game. Michael talks about how LeBradford talked trash. He didn't. But he's making up these fictional stories to get himself motivated, right? And to prove a point, Michael scores in the first half what LeBradford scored in the whole game. I mean, he was the type of guy that enjoyed breaking an opponent's spirit.
Pretty interesting stuff there from Will Perdue about Michael Jordan, and he should know he was his teammate with the Bulls for a long time. I hope you all enjoyed the possibility of getting to hear a little of the behind-the-scenes stuff on name, image, and likeness. There are a lot of myths out there. Hopefully you enjoyed getting to hear some of the inner stuff about it. Parker and I will rejoin and come back after the commercial break and talk a little bit about what Will Perdue laid on us. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Was probably a good day as I battle through Snotfest 2005 to sort of do something long form. I'm curious, Parker, because obviously Will Perdue and I go back a long ways, so I've heard some of this. What did you learn? What did you take out of that interview?
I liked how obviously the Michael Jordan thing is going to be of interest to everybody, including me. I watched The Last Dance. I love The Last Dance. I never get tired of watching it, but talking about having to play with a guy like that and how difficult that it is, because the level that he holds everybody around him to, it's not an easy thing. If he doesn't approve of practice, he's going to let you know, and he's going to, like Will was saying, talk a little trash to get you going to the level that he expects. And you only find that in so many. It's rare. It is a very rare trait to have that killer instinct that Michael Jordan had. So I could listen to him go on and on about his Bulls days.
Yeah, it's that documentary was incredible.
Fantastic.
What about the NIL stuff? What'd you learn?
Yeah, I actually just listened to the Pat Fitzgerald interview that he did with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, and he was kind of talking about some of the similar things that Will was talking about, where you have this rev share, a $20.5 million salary cap that's going to increase by, I think the number was 0.4% or something along the lines every year, and how you have only a specific amount. It's about 25%, depending on the school, will go to your basketball team, because football is going to get a large chunk of that. So coaches are having to navigate that, which they never had to do in the past. So that only adds on to their plate. They have to fundraise. They have to figure out, okay, what are the schools going to distribute to the athletes? In addition, these guys are going to NIL or third party NIL, and they're getting dollars through that. So it's a lot to figure out, but it seems like he has a good handle on it.
Yeah, it's first of all, I don't think coaches are having as much fun as they used to. I think that's this just in. But they're not saying as much publicly as they were year and a half ago.
Well, that's why a lot of these coaches are going to the professional ranks, because they don't have to worry about fundraising and dealing with all that crap. They just have to worry about coaching whatever sport they're going to. Take Jeff Hafley, who was the head coach at Boston College, and he goes to be the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. More of that stuff I feel like is going to start happening, because a lot of these coaches don't want to have to deal with. Shane Beamer did an interview, and he talked about how the majority of his time was spent at some fundraising dinner or finding ways to get his athletes paid, and he has to leave the X's and O's talk to his assistant coaches. So it's crazy.
It's apparent to me that you better have somebody on your staff that's either really good at the fundraising stuff and can help take that off your plate, or has got to be really good at the coaching stuff when you're not able to be there.
And that's why
crazy.
That's why this volunteer thing that we just we brought up in yesterday's update about that whole lawsuit with volunteer coaches, you have to have a big staff now. And a lot of these teams you have to have somebody that focuses exclusively on the transfer portal. You have to have somebody that focuses exclusively on NIL, because it's just so much to keep up with, and one person can't do all of it.
I don't know where it's going, but I do think that they have got to settle in. You know, Will talked about it's fluid, that every day some rule changes. They got to get to a point, it seems to me, where, okay, this is the deal, period.
And I fear that we are a long ways away from that, because Will mentioned it at the top of his interview. You have all these things that you believe are true, but they could change at the 11th hour of tomorrow. So nobody knows. And I fear we're a long way from having a national standard, which a lot of people have been claiming for, but we don't have a commissioner.
Right. And it does seem like somebody's got to step forward with some sort of, okay, I want to nominate Nick Saban.
Nick Saban doesn't want to do it.
Says, screw you.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
doesn't want to
doing
do it.
But you got to, it seems to me that they've got to find somebody soon that's actually the leader in the clubhouse.
And that's what this college sports commission is trying to do, but we won't know how effective they are until 2-3 years down the road, because they're still trying to get their business in order. And the NCAA, they just got sued for something else. Can't remember off the top of my head, but
they get sued a lot.
And they get taken to court and they lose every time. And it used to be when the NCAA came to knock on your door, that was almost like the feds knocking on your door. And now they're spineless.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk a little bit before we end this today about the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. Now, I'm not in pain. I am sick of what's going on, and I'm hoping that some of this stuff, I'm like a walking medicine cabinet right now.
You got all your
I've got it all
different
here.
Medicines up
so
there.
So far, nothing's quite done the trick, but this is a different kind of thing. We're talking real pain. When you get older, it happens a lot. And a lot of our listeners, like me, have gotten older. And so if you're honest, there are days you wake up and you've got pain. And the question is, how far are you willing to go before you seek some treatment? This is kind of humorous with me doing this commercial. How much longer am I going to let this go? Here's the thing, though. At the Dr. Gill Center, the thing that impressed me the most on a visit about 10 days ago was when Dr. Toohey told me, look, the most important thing is to be a good listener when a new patient walks in. Find out what they're dealing with, how they think it happened, what have been the treatments so far, what's worked, what hasn't worked. In other words, be a good listener. That's really important. And she made clear to me that, look, that is one of our strengths. We will be good listeners. And then the other thing is, man, they have got the technology to help you. I saw some things on that visit. I was like, wow, this is top-notch equipment. So you combined good listening, good equipment, and what you have is something you need to take advantage of, and that is calling the folks at the Dr. Gill Center, getting an appointment, and getting rid of that pain, because there's no reason for it to continue. Let me give out the phone number real quickly. It's 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838. When you call them, tell them I said to call.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Here's what's causing me pain. My nose is causing me pain. What do they call it? Is it postnasal drip? I hope it gets to post because
that sounds
my goodness,
very gross.
It does. Here's what else is causing me pain. My picks recently have sucked. Take that as a cue.
Plaster's bet of the day is what you're referring to, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Ohio didn't win last night. And
yes, I'm well aware of that.
I thought they had a good chance, but
it didn't happen.
Western Michigan, I guess they just came to play on what was yesterday? Tuesday night?
What's their nickname?
Who? Western Michigan?
Yeah.
The Broncos.
Okay. Yeah. What's Central Michigan?
The Chippewas.
Well done.
Oh, George,
I
know my MAC.
You know your MAC. Well, we're staying in the MAC tonight for 2 games. First, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is a really good quarterback. Actually, these are the Buffalo Bulls.
Okay, I was about to say, do I have the wrong graphic up?
No. Buffalo, I just think, is better than Central Michigan, even though the Chippewas are the home team. I'm taking Buffalo. Game number 2 may well be the 2 best teams in the MAC. And as all of you know, once you go MAC,
there's no going back.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have the second one.
Oh.
I thought there was only one. Sorry.
What in the world? Hold on. What does that look like down there?
Looks like 2.
Looks like 2.
That was a I will contribute to the fund.
See, this is where you get the advantage of Kelly not being here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take Miami of Ohio against a Toledo team that deep down feels like the best team in the MAC. But I'm going to take Miami of Ohio plus the 3.5 for one big reason. You know what that reason is?
What's the reason?
They're at home.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Well, it's good logic when you're betting on action. So
yeah. So tomorrow our show will originate from Sports and Social in Green Hills. By then, I better have this figured out, or it will be a thoroughly public snot fest. Yeah.
If it isn't already.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Anyway, tomorrow on the show, Underdog Picks. All of a sudden, there's a new leader in the clubhouse, and it ain't me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not happy.
Uh-oh.
How about that?
Oh, you have the listeners on the edge of their seat.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
didn't know that, did you?
Uh-oh.
All I can say is congratulations to the general. We will see all of the general. We'll see all of you tomorrow on the George Plaster Show. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Spa Day she customizes exactly the way she wants. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. And